In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to get that space look in Blender. So I already have the scene set up in Blender with just a space station model and an HDRI as the illumination and for the Earth. So I did not bother to use a dedicated Earth 3D model, but yeah. So this is our scene right now, and first things first, let's just set up our camera here. So I just want to get a view that looks like it's out of a space movie or something. Yeah, something that looks good. So now I'm happy with this view. The first thing we're going to change is the camera focal length. So in space they use very high focal length lenses. So select your camera and go into the camera properties and change it to something like 120 millimeters. So it is well within the telephoto range. So you may also need to adjust your viewing to counteract for that. So I'm just going to keep it as is. Next up, go to your render properties and scroll all the way down to color management. Change your view from standard to filmic and the look to medium high contrast. Now you can just go ahead and render out one frame. So let's just wait for this to get rendered. From the top toolbar, just go to the compositing tab. Now you can see some nodes. So control and shift and click on the render layers to view the render layer. Now what you're going to do is shift plus A and add a glare node. So shift plus A and add a glare node, and we're going to add that in between the viewer node. Now we're going to change some settings here. Change the type to fog glow, and you can just copy my settings. So I'm going to put the viewer to the glare, and I'm going to decrease the threshold. Actually no, I'm going to increase the threshold to something like 7, and then increase the size and increase the smoothness a bit. The strength and the saturation value really doesn't matter for this case, but yeah, I'm going to decrease the strength a little bit, and of course I'm going to set the quality to high. Now you have to add the same for the lower spectrum of the glass. So we're going to shift D and duplicate it, connect the image signal from the render layers, shift plus control and click on the second glare node to view the glare node, and then I'm going to decrease the threshold to something like 1 or 2 or even 4, whatever that works. What you're looking for is some very blurred reflective parts of the image, so that it may include some sky as well, but that is what you're looking for. You're going to increase the size to 1, and you're going to decrease the strength, so you'll get that gloomy, dreamy look. Now we're going to add these two glare nodes. So shift A and add a mix color node, set the blend type to mix, and plug in these signals. Shift and control plus click on the mix node to view the mixed signal, and we gotta play around with the factors so that it looks good. We don't want it to look too blurred out because of the glare, so play around with these settings. So something like 0.9 or something should work really well. Next up we have to add some lens distortion. Every lens has some sort of distortion, how perfect it may be, so we're going to add that. So the change in distortion should be very less, and the dispersion should be something like 0.01. So you can see that it doesn't change anything right away, but let me show you the extreme case scenario first. So if I just increase the dispersion, yeah, you can see that on the corner there, you can see how these are splitting to their composite colors. Yeah, that's dispersion for you. And distortion is basically when the lens bends the image to form an oval shape. I don't know how that works, but yeah, that is distortion. Every lens has that, so we're going to add that a little bit, so something like 0.001, so that it doesn't look weird or anything. And I'm going to decrease the dispersion as well, because it is usually considered a low quality lens if it has too much dispersion. Next up, we're going to change the colors. So add a color balance node and put it in between. So we're going to change the lift gamma gain to offset power slope. In the offset color picker, just increase it, put the dot into a blue area, decrease the saturation to something like 0.01 or even 0.45 or something very low. It should have a slight hint of blue to the black. Even in the blackness of space, there will be some sort of a thin layer of atmosphere, so we need to mimic that using this blue color. And we are going to change the slope to a slightly yellow color, and you're going to decrease the saturation a bit more. It should have a slight hint of yellow from the sun's rays, so it will give that space look that we want. So I think that's it. Yeah. And pro tip, if you want to add some sunbeams or sun rays, you can just shift A and add another glare node, change from streaks to sunbeams, and you can actually drag this X symbol to wherever your sun is pointing to in your scene. So in my case, I'm gonna drag that outside the frame because my sun is not in the picture. And yeah, I'm gonna decrease the size because this is obviously too long. Just explore yourself, play around with the settings, tweak some value. If it looks good, just do it, I guess. So that's basically my way of going around adding filters and glass, blooms and everything. So if you find any cool new nodes that you can add, just do it. Now you can render this out and just take a look at the results. I think they speak for themselves because it gives us that spacey feel where it looks very glowing and that halation effect and everything. So I hope you guys found this useful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.